What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today we are going to continue our Sealand series, and this time we are going to jump over to the Forest faction. So yes, we're doing some of the ones that we kind of don't talk about as much first. We'll eventually get to Shadow, things like that, but I feel like those have been talked to death about because they're usually the easiest. This one, Forest, I would honestly say is one of the hardest ones nowadays to actually get a Sealand 20 done. It requires pretty close to the most E5 heroes typically to clear this. You definitely can't do it with just one E5 hero. You definitely need to. Garuda is the big one that's going to help you get Sealand 20 cleared. Now that you know you can get up to level 345, some things have changed from the screenshots and the videos we'll show you here today, but I think this is one that a lot of people could use some good resources on because a lot of people have Garudas, and I'm not sure everybody has actually got Sealand 20 done in Forest. So let's jump into it. Let's go over the heroes, go over the artifacts, go over the different optimal setups, and then we will go over and show you actual lineups that have cleared Sealand 20. So when it does come to the Forest faction, yes, there are some older styles, there's older ways to get it done. Back in the day, if you had like 3 to 4 Oberons, you could actually manage to clear Sealand 20, but should I recommend that? Would you recommend that? Good lord, no. Say no to Oberon. He can be good for early Forest Sealand as supports to help Twine, but really once you get into the 18, 19, 20 range in Forest Sealand, it comes down to one girl and one girl alone, and that is Ruda. So she is extremely important. She synergizes well with having weaker teammates in multiple ways. One is because she is going to have feather blades that are going to be really useful to ping away, do little bits of extra damage, plus accumulate damage reduction stacks on herself as well. So you kind of want to hope you get your team to live around 2 rounds mostly. And then, of course, how she kills the enemies is going to be her Fatal Feather, her active ability. This just completely nukes down the enemies. Now, the old way to do this was you typically needed 2 different Garudas. One Garuda you would put in slot 6 in the very back. You would build her all-out offensive. You would use some sort of pay-to-win artifact like a Kiss a Ghost. I think I've seen Antlers Cane do it. Very offensive setup. You're probably going to want to run a 1-3 weapon setup with something like a Holy Attack Stone or a Crit Attack Stone, something like that. And then you're going to want to run her straight offensive enables. You're going to run 2-2-3-2-2 because you still need Unbending Will. It's the only way heroes live in Sealand 20, no matter the faction. Well, besides Dark. But yeah, you want to run her completely offensive. If you only have one Garuda, you're probably going to want to run the same thing. Keep her in that slot 6. You're going to want to run her full out offensive. Gear, artifacts, stone, enables, everything. Now, if you have multiple Garudas, typically what happens is you put your second Garuda in slot 2 in the front row, and you're going to build that Garuda as tanky as possible. If you have, damage reduction, if you have the special ones, Oak's Heart, any of those ones, you're going to want to throw that on Garuda to give her more tankiness, full tanky enables. Mostly, you might want to run a 1-2-3-1-2 setup on the tank Garuda in the front row. And then you're going to fill the rest of your team with support heroes. So, that is one way of doing it. The other way that seems to be more prominent nowadays is you still have your one damage dealer Garuda, but then you have a Rogan in the front row being your tank instead of that second Garuda. Again, it really just comes down to what heroes you have. I know a lot of people have 2 Garudas because PvP. I know a lot of people are having Rogans now because Rogan is one of the most important support heroes in PvP nowadays. Speed means everything, and Warpath Roar is amazing. But Warpath Roar is also great for Sealand as well because you're going to be giving your Garuda extra attack, extra crit damage. Extremely important. Plus, he has a chance, if he does get an active off, to give her Bloodthirsty, which will let her heal based on her damage done, which she does a lot in Sealand. So, You will always need the Garuda, even if you have low 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-star support heroes. It will help because she will heal when your team starts dying, and hopefully that makes it so you can take a couple extra hits in the late round and have Unbending Will up against the boss 1 versus 1, because most of the time, just like many sea lands, you take care of all the small minions and then you have to move on to the final big boss. He's still alive and then you have to take him like one-on-one. So that is something. Some people tend to build an Olivia. I have seen some clears do it with an E5 Olivia in the front row. Olivia is going to be really great because of 2 different things. One, her shrink is going to make a target that she shrinks take more damage, while also lowering the damage they are dealing to your Garuda. And then Fairy Guard can be pretty nice too. It's a little bit of extra damage, but the big thing is restoring the HP as well. So Olivia can be a great support if you are building her. If you are not building her, do not worry about Olivia. She is not necessary. Honestly, even if you have a low like 5-star Olivia, that will work as well because she still has that shrink. It doesn't do nearly as much, but it is still very, very, very strong to have. As far as other support heroes go, there are some options if you're trying to do budget. Really, if you're going to build something like a Rosa, you're going to want to make like a 9-star Rosa. Rosa has some really great support synergy. It will reduce the attack that the enemies have while increasing your allies' attack. So the active is very strong, as well as the basic attack. Rosa's basic attack is going to reduce all enemies' armor by 18%. So if you are not using a Kiss of Ghost on your Garuda, this can be really good. If you are using a Kiss of Ghost, essentially this does nothing for you, so don't worry about it. As far as other support heroes go, not as popular nowadays, but building some Oberons used to be the way to go. Even just low level ones and getting their actives off just to twine enemies to get seed sowed so that you have more CC, and more CC means you're not going to get hit as much, which means you potentially save Unbending Will layers for when you need them later on in the fight with the big boss in the back. Besides that, there's really not too many other great support heroes to use. Of course, you can always find a niche for heroes. Maybe Flora has a spot. I really haven't seen many people do Forest Sealand with Flora, but she has potential. If you get an active in round 1 and she's a little bit higher level, she can be really good. But yeah, that's pretty much what you need to know. Next up, we're going to go over, since I don't really have any footage of a reasonable clear, I think just about everything I have is complete overkill. We're going to go over, and I have a bunch of screenshots of what people have used to actually complete Forest Sealand 20, and they're relatively recent, so they're kind of up to date. So let's jump over there. Let's show you some lineups. I'm pretty sure every single one of them uses the Phoenix, so I would highly recommend probably just going with the Phoenix on this one as well. There's really not much benefit going other ones. Maybe you could go something like the Dragon, but again, really up to you. So let's jump over and see those completed clears. All right, so this first one here does have quite a few enabled heroes. It does have Heart Watchers as well. And this is the typical setup you want. You want an E5 hero like he has the Rogan right here in that front row spot, that second spot, to tank hits and make sure your Garuda doesn't get hit as much. You do have support heroes like the Heart Watchers to increase the damage on certain targets, as well as Olivia. This one's at E3, but you know, she's there to shrink. She's there for Fairy's Guard, and Rosa, like we showed you as well. Pretty strong hero for that. This one here is kind of similar, a little bit different, having a much stronger Rosa in the front with a Heart Watcher, just to tank some hits. And then if you are going to have an enabled hero in the back row, I recommend you putting them in slot 3 so that they take all the hits. You definitely want to make sure your damage dealer, your Garuda, is in slot 6. There's a lot of enemies that just hit the first target in the row, which will go to 4, 5, 6, and yeah, so you really want to make sure she is in the very last spot. But as you see, a couple Roses, a couple Rogans for those buffs. This one here is more minimal. You have an Oberon in slot 1 with that Rogan in slot 2. You got support heroes like Rosa, Heart Watcher, and Olivia at very low levels, not even in the 10-star plus range. Well, Heart Watcher is, but you should have a Heart Watcher anyway since you're doing PvE. So that is a cool one. And then lastly, we have this one here. A little bit easier of a clear. I'm sure they did put the Rogue in slot 1, which I typically like putting him in slot 2, but it might be to make sure Rosa lives an extra round. That could be part of it. And like I said, this one is probably the least minimalistic, but probably the easiest way to get it done. I'm pretty sure most of these, yeah, I mean, most of these, they were level 300 to 330. Overall, they use Griffin, Dragon, Phoenix. So it's kind of, it's not really any one pet that you have to use to clear this out. So it's something that, personal opinion, who do you have? What do you have access to? And it's pretty much straightforward. So hopefully this helps you guys out if you are trying to clear at Sealand 20. I know a lot of people are building Ruda as their first E5, and this is why I typically say she's not in a great first E5. She's good, but not top tier, just because of Sealand requiring so many extra heroes to actually get Sealand 20 done compared to other factions. So hopefully this helped you guys out. If you are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are growing so much, and I appreciate all that support, guys. So let me know what you guys think. If you have any tips or tricks for Sealand 20 in Forest, make sure you drop it in the comments. See you guys next time.